Before we get into the entire lesson, let's just talk a little bit about what you might recall about polygons. First of all, what is a polygon? What is a polygon, guys?
Is a plane shape
It's a plane shape. Uh-huh.
with straight lines.
It has straight sides, correct? So it's a plane. When you say a plane shape, what do you mean by that? So Zara is saying a plane shape. So just gonna write a little points. It's just a brainstorm, right? So Zara says a plane shape, and I want to know what she means by that. What is a plane shape?
A 2D shape.
Mm-hmm. A two-dimensional shape, right? Two-dimensional shape, which means that it has only length and breadth. Oops, I spelled breadth wrong. No, I did spell it correctly. You know what? Let's say width. So it's a flat shape. So plane shape, a flat shape, all of those words that we can describe a polygon. It has multiple sides, right? So what are some different polygons that you guys know? What is a three-sided polygon called? A side,
Triangle.
a triangle, right? So we have a triangle. What is a four-sided polygon called? Anybody knows the
Quadrilateral.
name? Mm-hmm, that's
Quadrilateral.
right. That's right, Sarai is correct. A quadrilateral is a four-sided polygon. What about a five-sided polygon? The
Pentagon.
five-sided pentagon is correct. Ooh, Sarai, you know your shapes, girl. What about a six-sided
Hexagon.
hexagon is right. What about a eight-sided shape?
Octagon.
Octagon, right? So these are all some popular ones. What else? How many how many degrees do you have in a triangle?
180 degrees.
That's right. A triangle has 180 degrees. So the sum of the interior angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. What about the sum of the interior angles in a quadrilateral?
360.
360. Good. So these are some things about quadrilaterals. What else, boy? What about a regular pen difference between a regular polygon? You have regular and then you have irregular. What's the difference between those two? Anybody knows? What's the difference
Miss
between a regular?
regular is when all sides are equal.
That's right. So in a regular polygon, all sides and all angles are equal, right? So all sides and angles are equal. And well, a irregular one has the different sides and different angles. So correct. What is a regular? What would you call a regular triangle then? What type of triangle would a regular triangle be?
Equilateral.
Equilateral. And what kind of quadrilateral would be a regular quadrilateral?
Tri- Rectangle.
No, not a rectangle. A square. Because a rectangle has two long sides and two short sides, right, Soraya?
Yes, miss.
So a square would be a regular and a rhombus as well. Okay, so these are some things about polygons, right? Um, Last week we also looked at so we looked at determining what the sum of the interior angles is, and we also looked at the sum of the exterior angles in any polygon. So if we're thinking about the sum of the interior angles, let's draw I'm gonna draw a hexagon, right? So this is a hexagon. Not finished as yet. Might not be regular because I don't know what the dimensions are here. So I just know it's a six-sided shape, right? So it's a hexagon. I don't want to say that it's a regular hexagon because this is not drawn to scale. If I wanted to find the sum of the interior angles, that means I want to find, so let's call this hexagon A, B, C, D, E, F. If I wanted to find the sum of the interior angles in this hexagon, I can use a formula, and that formula is n minus 2 multiplied by 180 degrees. And this gives me the sum of the interior angles in the hexagon. All right, so let's see what that would be. Well, the n, when I say n for the formula, n refers to the number of sides in the polygon, right? So in the hexagon, what would n be then? If n is the number of sides in the polygon, what would n be in this case?
6.
6, correct, right? So to find the sum of the interior angles in this hexagon, I would say 6 minus 2 multiplied by 180, which would be 6 minus 2 is 4, and 4 times 180 will give me, what would that give me? 180 times 4 is 720 degrees. So therefore, a hexagon, whether it's regular or irregular, a hexagon has 720 degrees, right? A hexagon has 720 degrees. That's the sum of its interior angles. Okay, so let's say I wanted to find out the sum of, so let's do a quick little exercise, right? We're gonna find the sum of the interior angles in a polygon with the following sides, right? So first, let's say a polygon that has 10 sides, right? And then let's do a polygon that has 20 sides. Not 20, 20, 22 sides. I don't even know what you'd call that. If there's even a name, a special name for that. Okay, so if it has 10 sides, remember the formula is n minus 2 multiplied by 180, right? So then in question 1, if we're looking at a polygon with 10 sides, n will be equal to 10, right? So we'll say 10 minus 2 times 180. So that gives me 10 minus 2 is 8, and 8 times 180 will be 8 times 180 is 1,440 degrees. So the sum of the interior angles in a polygon with 10 sides will be 1,440 degrees. If it's a regular polygon, then one of the angles will just be 1,440 divided by 10, because remember, all the angles are equal, right? So Matthias, how would I calculate the sum of the interior angles in a polygon with 22 sides? How would I do that one? A
This
polygon.
will be 22 minus 2
22 minus 2
by 180.
by 180. Work it out for me, please. So that's 20 by 180.
Yeah, that is 3,600 degrees.
Good, 3,600 degrees. And again, if it was a regular polygon, then you would say 3,600 divided by 22, which will give you 163.64 degrees to 2 decimal places. Since if it's regular, all the 22 angles will be equal. And guys, the number of sides will be equal to the number of angles, right? So in a three-sided shape, that's a triangle. A triangle has 3 angles. A quadrilateral has 4 angles. A pentagon has 5 angles, and so on, right? So the number of sides is also equal to the number of angles. Okay. Um, if you all are interested, I can just show you quickly um, why or how we came up with this formula. All right. Actually, let's not do that right now. Let's get straight into a question. All right. So I am going to draw a shape on the screen. So bear with me for a little bit. Okay, so let's say we have this shape. I'm going to do a hexagon again. Oops, sorry, that was a mistake. All right, so now mind you, a hexagon, especially if it's an irregular hexagon, well, only if it's an irregular hexagon, I think. I'm not sure. But it can be, it doesn't have to be like the typical diamond shaped one, like this one that I drew here. So it's like a typical hexagon, right? This is what you would see typical regular hexagon looking like. But the polygon doesn't have to be something that you have seen before. It could be any shape that has six sides will be considered a hexagon, right? An irregular hexagon, since the sides and angles are all different sides. So different lengths, sorry. So this, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. So my hexagon here, let's label it. I'm gonna call it A, B, C, D, E, F, right? Just for ease of understanding here and explanation purposes. Good. So my hexagon, it's a hexagon because it has six sides, all right? And because it has six sides, it'll also have six angles. So let's say this here is, what kind of angle is this that I just drew here? A, B, C. What kind of angle is that, guys?
Right angle.
A right angle. How many degrees do you have in a right angle?
90.
90. Good. So many times you will not see you might not see it as 90. You might just see that symbol, which means it's a perpendicular or a right angle. Good. So let's say in this hexagon, A, B, C, D, E, F, I need to find the value of X, right? I want to know how much is X equal to. Well, in order to do that, I would first need to know how many degrees I have in the hexagon, right? I think we just said it was 720, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna do all these steps because now we're gonna do a bunch of questions on on this topic, right? So we're gonna look at a bunch of different polygons and we're gonna solve it. Now, in order to find X, I would need to write an equation, right? That adds up all the angles that I have there and equates it to the sum of all of them, right? And first things first, your first step here is to find the sum of the interior angles, right? To find the total, because that's the only way you can get an equation if I know what the total is equal to. So firstly, we'll do, so total angles, or you know what, let's say sum of interior angles, that's step one. Sum of the interior angles in this hexagon would be n minus 2 multiplied by 180, right? And n minus 2 in this case, well, it's 6 minus 2 times 180. And that is 4 by 180, which gives me 720 degrees. So all the angles within this shape adds up to 720 degrees. So now I can obtain an equation that adds up all the angles here. So it will be 90 plus 140 plus 70 plus 160 plus x is all equal to 720 degrees, right? That's what it means. So simplifying, now I'm going to add up all the constants on this side. So 90 plus 140 plus 70 plus 160, which is 460. Then x plus x is 2x. So 460 plus 2x is equal to 720. So therefore, 2x is equal to 720 minus 460. 720 minus 460 is 260. So 2x is equal to 260. And so x will be equal to 260 divided by 2, which makes x equal to 130 degrees. All right. So if x is really 130 degrees, then if I add 130 plus 130 plus 160 plus 70 plus 140 plus 90, I should get back 720, which I do. Right? So my answer is correct.